What if you knew your animal better than anyone else, including your vet? What if you knew where to go for information covering a variety of different topics that allow you to choose the care you would like for the furry member of the family? What if this information can be found with even more ease than ever before? Get ready to listen, share, and question what animal care used to be and where it can go. Now, here's the host of Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio Show, certified animal chiropractor, Dr. Andy Harper.
Welcome to Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio Show on a2zen.fm with me, Dr. Andy Harper, as your host. Today is August 8th, 2015, and I am here to empower you to know what you know about your animal. So before we jump into our show today, let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a doctor of chiropractic, a certified animal chiropractor, access consciousness facilitator, and energetic magic with animals practitioner. I have been in practice in Denver, Colorado for over 12 years, and I work with horse, dog, and cat bodies on a daily basis. Access Consciousness found me about 5 years ago, and with those wild and wacky tools, I've developed magical, energetic work with the animals that have exceeded anything I could have imagined when I started this journey so many years ago. So with Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio, my target is to get all the pragmatic, all the energetic, and all the magical info out into the world and beyond. Last week on the show, it was the never-ending itching, scratching, chewing, driving you mad show with our special guest, Chelsea Kent. We talked about how nutrition could impact the skin issues your animal may be having. We discussed mostly dogs. We mentioned little kitties. So if you are having that dog that is driving you mad with their scratching, you might want to check out that show. Chelsea Kent, owner-operator of Heroes Pets here in Littleton, Colorado, has been on the show, I believe, 3 or 4 times. All of those shows can be found in the archives on a2zen.fm. And so check that out. So today on Animal Magic Radio, Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, and Other Horse Magic with our special guest, Hanne Stigaard. What would you like to know about how horses can create magic, consciousness, and other amazingness in your life? And have you ever considered the value of being fully present with a horse? So join me and Hanne as we talk about Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, horse magic, all of that, and much, much more. And throughout this hour, if you have any questions about that, any stories you'd like to share, or you just want to join in the energy, you can reach us in a variety of ways. You can call them in at 815-880-8255 in the U.S., 613-800-8736 in Canada, UK-wide 033-001-0625. You can always Skype them in at a2zen.fm. And there is a way to chat them in, www.a2zen.fm along the top. Choose chat room and join us. And there's always extra conversations going on in that chat room with producers, with other people who have joined the show. Some questions come in that way, so lots and lots of fun if you dare to join us. So before we meet our guests, let's expand out. As big as the room you're in, as big as the town, as big as the country, in all directions, as big as the world, up, down, side, forward, back, now as big as the universe and beyond. Let's ask all of our animals to join us, and what would the animals like the world to know? So, hi, Hanne, how are you?
Hi, Eddie. I'm good, thank you. And thanks for creating this. Awesome. And yes, let's see what the animal wants us to create here. I'm sure that we can be a much bigger contribution to each other, animals and us, once we choose to open up for it.
Absolutely. How does it get better than that?
Yeah,
and what do our animals know that way beyond what we know?
Yeah.
Well, I have a little bio here.
Yes.
That's exactly what we do, right? And use these wild and wacky tools of access for. I have your bio in front of me, but why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up working with horses? Because I find it fascinating.
Yeah, it was, because 12 years ago I was in a completely different world. I was working as an account manager in an IT company selling huge quality management systems to big companies. So I was in my head 100% completely, and I had no sense of my body or anything. And I was actually creating a very good career in that IT company. And then my daughter became sick, seriously ill with multiple sclerosis, and that luckily, seen backwards, stopped my career in the IT company, because she became very, very sick and was soon in a wheelchair and had trouble seeing and hearing, and her spine was collapsing. So she was really in a bad state when I got in contact with Access Consciousness, as you know, tools to really change whatever you would like to change. And that has proven to be very true for her, because we started with the Access tools, and she was sitting, she was at a therapist having a treatment, and I was sitting waiting for her, and I was looking at a book that was there, and it was called Talk to the Animals, and it was written by Gary Douglas, who is the founder of Access Consciousness. And the reason why that book kind of just popped up in front of me was actually because a year before, my daughter had received a horse from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, because she was really, really in a bad state. And the only thing that she really was happy about was when she was with her riding therapist. Is there someone on the line?
I don't think so, but you didn't sound like it there for a second.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, she was really happy with that horse, and she had the horse from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I could kind of choose to buy a horse as well, or I could run beside her, because she needed help for everything around the horse, because she was in that bad state. So I chose to buy a horse. And I, at that point, had no idea what was back and front of a horse. So it was really like, okay, I'm going to do this, because I can see it really, it could help my daughter. So, and I thought, well, there is a lot of other people who have done it, so I can also do it. So we got these horses, and even though I'm very fit and strong, and I did all the right things when you needed to go with a horse, I was riding with a saddle and a what do you call it? A bit in the mouth of there. Yeah, exactly.
A bit.
And yeah, and I was doing all the right stuff, the technical right stuff of riding a horse, and I just couldn't follow her. And she was so tiny and had no muscle coordination, or nothing was really working in her little tiny body anymore. And she was riding bareback and only with a halter, and I just couldn't follow her. And it was like, fuck, how did this happen? I really was not used to that. And one day I said to her, how do you do this? And she just looked at me, and like, she had a hard time talking as well. But she looked at me and she said, I just talked to him. And I said, but you don't say a word. I don't hear anything. And she said, but I talk to him in here, she said, and pointed at herself. And it just became so clear. So when I looked at that book in the waiting room, Talk to the Animals, I was like, oh, we are going to do that. And I found out that was just so clear that was the only thing she can actually, at that point, could do, because she was so weak, and she hadn't been to school, because her whole childhood she has been in hospitals. So, but this she can, and this she's very, very good at. So we got in contact with Gary, and to apply for one of the spots in his team where he wanted to teach facilitators to facilitate Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider classes. You had to take all their Access core classes to apply for a spot on that team, and we did. So we just went home and just signed up for all the Access classes, and we did them twice, and then we got on that education in Texas with Gary, and that just changed everything. I remember for Pernille, it has changed everything, because she's now walking. She doesn't use a wheelchair anymore. And she can see, and she can hear, she can feel her legs. She couldn't feel her legs before. And so she's almost normal now. And if you ask the doctors, they don't want to look at her anymore because she's quite provoking for them, because she's proven them wrong in everything. They said 10 years ago that she would not grow up to be an adult, and she's 19 today, and she's doing better than ever. And that was just the horse and the access tools changed everything. And that's, if in the beginning I wasn't into it because I thought that could be something that I would do. I was just trying to save her or trying to help her. But all of a sudden it just made completely sense, all of it. And I could see what the horse, how the horses are capable of actually just contributing with whatever we require. And their willingness to do it is also extremely big. And with the tools of access, on the other hand, you could change whatever you want to change, and you can choose something else. And that's what I saw in front of my eyes happening with my daughter, that she said, okay, I'll make another choice. I don't want to sit in this wheelchair. I want to see and hear again, and I want to get up from this wheelchair, and I want to go ride horses. And you can just see when she's there that the healing that is going on and the contribution that they are to each other is so big. So that was the story about how me running around with computer systems in my head. All of a sudden, I'm so grateful. I'm so beyond grateful. I often say thank you to my daughter because it has not been easy for her. And well, you know as well, Andy, when you start doing the access techniques, it's not all.
Yeah, I was going to go with stuff.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Yeah, that access stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There can be some bumps on the road. It can be pretty hard sometimes, but it can also, when you choose change, you can change anything you want. And if you
I love how you keep saying that.
Yeah.
Because it is beyond the horses. It is beyond everything. You can change anything you want. And what an amazing story. And I'm so glad you told it instead of me reading off these few paragraphs, because I would not have given it the justice. So thank you so much. And thank the horses and thank your daughter for this journey. Exactly. And how awesome is all of that? And because, generally how many people go from sickness to horses to the entire life change? Generally, you look at sickness as, there's life change and it's all going to be awful.
Yeah.
What if there's different possibilities out there?
Exactly. And actually what we do more and more, my daughter and me, she's also in on some of the horse classes that we teach, and some of them she's not, because she's now so capable of managing on her own that she sometimes stays at home. So she's not coming to Denver, for instance. But that's her choice now, and that's also a part of being that independent is a huge set, where 5 years ago, we were together 24/7, and she was completely dependent on my help all the time. Can you imagine how that is to be a teenager and dependent on your mom all the time? I mean, and the horse that she still has that horse. It's an Icelandic horse that she had from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And there's so many funny things going on there that has inspired me in a way that I lack words for it, because he was not an easy horse when she got him. He was stubborn, and he was spooky, and he was kind of like afraid of everything, afraid of bicycles and plastic bags. And you know how horses can be really like, oh dear, and jumping around and really be. But
that's by plastic bags, yes.
Yes, and to see how he could actually read her the second that they met each other, and there was this energetic connection that was it was so clear even to my IT computer brain that, something is not, I can't explain what is happening here, because the way that they interacted from the first second, and where he just completely changed, poof, and was a completely connected and collected horse that was not spooky about it. He wasn't afraid of anything, and he's so calm and collected now and that's also, it just from the very first second was so clear that he just sensed her and had the complete picture of her and what she required from him, and he was willing to give it, and he was willing to contribute. The beauty of that really made me realize of, oh, the horses are so willing to contribute in a way that not so many of us have actually understood at all, how willing they are to contribute with whatever is required if people are willing to receive it.
Absolutely, the receiving part, but how many of us even ask?
Yes,
what
exactly.
They can contribute?
Exactly.
And then be aware of how they deliver it, because they don't deliver it the way we think they're going to, if we happen to ask, and then we have to receive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that your daughter at that time, she didn't have all the options that we rely on, the walking, the talking, the moving, all of that. You know, she did the energetics. The horse is like, oh yeah, I get that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the fun of it, and that's actually what really also is so inspiring in every class that we do, is that these classes is about the clear communication of creating that clear contribution and communication between horse and man, and once we get that, it's about everything. It's about that communication can be there with everything, you know, with your husband or your child or with the rest of the world or your car or whatever. But it's so, when you do the access tools together with the horses, it just, for me, gets so clear, because you can look at the horses and they are so where we want to be. They are so clear. They are so present.
Yeah.
They are no judgmental. There's no judgment. They don't. Your horse doesn't look at you in the morning and say, "Oh, you're not wearing the latest in the fashion of riding thing," or "You have an ugly hair today, lady," or something. They don't. Mm-hmm. They just see you as who you are, and if you pretend to be something that you're not, they will just walk off. They don't want to interact with you. Isn't that true? Haven't you also?
Yeah.
It's like, it's so clear that, so in that way, they can be our greatest facilitators if we will let them, if we will receive the knowing that they have. Because they see through.
Yeah, they know who you be, possibly long before you know who you be yourself.
Exactly.
And and they knew they were taking you on this journey before you knew it.
Oh yeah. So if we can actually just receive and just listen to what they want to contribute to us and receive it, then we are far, far, far in front of a lot of other of where we were before. I can see how much that they are willing to give to me when I'm willing to receive it. It's so incredible. And when people see that, when they experience that with the horses, it's incredible what they can actually show us. We could spend 100 hours with a shrink to have the same knowing about ourselves that they can provide for us. They can just give a clear picture, a clear mirror right in your face. So if you're willing to look in that mirror, then you can really to grow.
How awesome is that? I love that. You could actually save money by hanging out with the horses in your tree.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, how cool is that?
So we're gonna take a quick break. You are listening to Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio on a2zen.fm with my guest Hanne Stigaard. We are talking about conscious horse, conscious rider, and other horse magic. We're actually, she's mentioned throughout her intro about these classes. So we're going to talk specific on the classes and the one that's coming to Denver. So how cool is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how cool is that?
Many of us make choices on how to care for our animals based on how it has been done in the past or what others have always done. What would it look like to choose what your pet requires, which may be very different from what others would choose? By tuning into Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio Show with certified animal chiropractor Dr. Andy Harper, you'll receive information and options you never even knew existed to improve your relationship with animals in your life. Listen to Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio Show every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm. This is Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio Show with certified animal chiropractor Dr. Andy Harper, or more well known as the Energy Wizard. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. at 815-880-8255. That's 815-880-TALK. Or in Canada, 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also ask a question by sending an email to drandy@harpersridge.com.
Welcome forward. Thank you for joining me today on Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio Show on a2zen.fm with myself, Dr. Andy, and my special guest, Hanne Stigaard. Again, I invite you to join us with any questions you have in the chat room on a2zen.fm. And now back to our amazing animals and our amazing guest. She travels the world offering conscious horse, conscious rider classes, which is one of the specialty classes of Access Consciousness. And she's going to be here with me, which I'm so excited, in Denver, August 15th and 16th at the Village in Cherry Hill. So if any of my clients are listening or anybody in the Denver metro or the U.S. would like to come join us, we welcome you. We invite you. And how much fun can we have with the horses? And how much can that change your life? Hanne was just going through how horses have changed her life. And I've had a lot of people ask me, like, well, I don't even have a horse. I'm like, so? So who are these classes for? Who do you invite all over the world to these classes?
Oh yeah, that's some of the fun about it as well, because we have people who are really professionals working professionally with horses. I have a lot in Ireland who are breeding gallop horses, race horses, and we also have people who come to class who have never touched a horse, who come maybe because they are afraid of horses and want to deal with that. So the class is very much about horses and us, but it's also about the access tools and how we can use those tools to deal with ourselves and our challenges, to get rid of limitations. So the people who come to the classes they're often people who have horses or ride horses or just enjoy the company of horses. So it's everything between people who are afraid of horses and people who work full time with horses. So it's really a mix, and that's also and there are no prerequisites on access either to the class. So it can actually be people attending the class who had never ever heard anything about the access tools. So it's really, really a wide group of people coming and attending, and that makes it actually very funny. Always there is.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. So how much fun is that?
Yeah, it is fun. It is really funny. Sometimes it can, when people show up and we start the classes. maybe it's only the first 5 minutes that there can be a little bit of a challenge to, oh, am I the only one who had never heard about a pod talk, which is one of their access tools or something like that? Oh, am I supposed to be here or something like that? But yes, we will start from Adam and Eve with those things. It's not, you don't have to have been in 20 access classes to attend this class. It's actually a lot about energetic communication, which is a language that we're all born with, but most of us have forgotten how to use it. So it's a lot about that, and it's a lot about getting rid of limitations. And whether you are a horse person or not a horse person, most of us have quite a few limitations that stops us from actually having the life that we want to have. And with the horses, when we work with horses or play with horses, there's also quite a lot of limitations there, and the horses might have limitations. So we'll work with the horses and we'll work with ourselves. And the way we do it is quite playful in those 2 days, that we have a bit of theory about the tools and techniques that we're going to use. And then we'll go and meet a horse, and we'll go back and forth from horses to theory, talk about the theory while we are with the horses, and try the techniques that we learn on the horses and on each other, for that matter. So it's actually for horsey people and not so horsey people. And there has been, last time there was a lady a man attending who has a kennel for dogs. He had never been close to a horse before, but he had been thinking, oh, communication with horses, and he called me before and said, can you use that kind of communication with dogs as well? And I said, yeah, sure, you can. He's like you also, as I have read about it, you also deal with other animals and horses, don't you, in this radio show?
Yes. Oh yeah, we actually talk about dogs more than all the other animals, but yeah. So I use all the same tools on either.
Yes.
You know, they all work.
Yes.
Even on cats.
And also the techniques that we use on there, also the physical techniques, there will be body language, there will be energetic communication tools to be more clear in that, and there will also be hands-on processes that we can use on horses and on each other. I have a cool example. My brother called me one day. He had done something with his back and he couldn't move, and he was in great pain and was sitting in a chair, and he called me and he said, Hanne, can you do something? You do so weird stuff, so I'm sitting here and I really need to go to the bathroom and I cannot get up from this chair. And I went to him. He doesn't live far away, and I went to him and I said, oh, I was asking questions as what can we do here? And what popped up was the deep tissue massage that we use with the horses, that I should do that on his back and on his legs. So and I said to him, this might sound very weird, brother, but I'm going to give you a horse treatment. he just started laughing and he said, okay, whatever. I said, whatever. And it worked. And, so a lot of the techniques that we use with the horses are the body treatments that we can also use on people. And so it's actually, I've learned so much from these horse classes also that I can use on myself or others, because the thing is that energetically we can communicate in the same language as the horses, which is quite interesting because we can listen to what they're saying and we can actually ask them questions. So what is this all about? If they are lame or they have some behavior challenge that we're not really comfortable with or we would like to change. So we can ask them questions and we can actually learn to hear their answers and we can then help them change whatever they want to change, and we can find out how we can be a bigger contribution to each other. And in the physical part, it also goes both ways, that we can also contribute to them. Sometimes, well, that as a chiropractor, that sometimes if they act up physically in some, it can be somewhere else in their body that they actually have some tension or some, that actually just makes a movement painful or whatever. And we can help them with these things by communicating with them and having these tools also to work with the body processes, or with the deep tissue massage. We can talk to the horse and we can, you have a pain, you have a pain there. Would it be a contribution if we did some of that energy work or body work there? And we can do exactly the same with our neighbor or daughter or whoever it is. It's the same tools that I use on my daughter as well as we use with with the horses. And that's just made me, in the beginning, it made me laugh a lot. That how funny is that I'm giving my brother a horse treatment, and he found it very funny. And now he just calls now and then and says, I'm kind of feeling like a horse treatment. Are you up for that? Or something like that.
So it was helpful. He got him out of the chair.
He got out of the chair and he got to the bathroom in time, which I was very grateful for.
Oh, good. Yes, I think everyone was.
Yes. So,
how awesome.
Yeah. So we can it doesn't matter actually if we work full time with horses or something. The techniques that we use is actually, you can use them also on yourself and your family. So they're pretty cool.
Yeah, it's way cool. It's so beyond the horse. And like you said before, they're so willing to let us use them to get there. So how cool is that? And I was looking at your website, which is www.hannestigaard.com. The very first sentence under the Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class was, I warn you, it might change your life.
Yes. Yeah.
And how phenomenal is that?
Yeah, and it does. And the biggest reward for me in all of this, apart from my daughter now being practically normal and in big time enjoying her life, and me too. I don't want to go back to the IT company. I'm really, really grateful for having a much easier going life now and a much more happy life than I had before. I didn't know back then what was possible. Now I really know that something else is possible, that happiness and choosing and becoming more conscious and choosing something else you can create whatever you want to create. You can get by any obstacles that might be on your way. You can choose to have a better functioning body if you want that, or anything. It's anything. There was a lady calling me last time when I was in Ireland doing a horse class. And it was so funny because she said, she was a horse person, so she enjoyed the horse part very much. But afterwards, she said, what really changed most for me was that I became aware that you can talk to anything. And she said, the other day, my car broke down. And there was, she stopped on the road and she opened the motor room there and she took off the, what do you call that? The top thing and she looked into it. There was water enough. Yeah, exactly. And she lost it and she dropped it in the motor and she couldn't find it. And she kept on looking for that and she couldn't find that little piece of metal. And then after a while she thought, I might start talking to it. I might ask it questions if it wants to show me where it is. And and she started asking questions. So is it down here somewhere? No. Okay. Is it down here somewhere? No. And she just used the tools that we had used at the horse class. And she called me afterwards and she said, it's so funny that I just realized that I can talk to anything. It's not just horses or myself. It's actually anything. Because, isn't that funny?
Yes, that's awesome. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I talked in my car. I lost my sunglasses went away, so I'm like, okay, guys, could you come back here soon? Or I asked for things to show back up. Talk to the dogs, the cats, and the universe. What if you can talk to the universe and ask for exactly what you'd like?
Yes, exactly. And it's just the tools what I really love about this access on horses in one thing is that it gets so clear, and it actually just speeds up for me, and I can see for a lot of other people, it just speeds up the process of actually creating and choosing more awareness, because it gets so clear when you are there with the horses that they just grab it and go with it like that. Doof. You can spend hours to make a treatment, a body work on a person, and you can spend 2.5 minutes with a horse, and then it's done. They receive in a level that we have no idea what is possible. They are so quick, but you must see that when you work with the horses as well, don't you? That they just kind of like, when you get to whatever, something, you don't like your name. Would it change this behavior if we find another name for you, or whatever is going on there? And when we get to the right thing that we just clear, and it just poof goes away. And they are so uncomplicated. They are not like us. So, I want to get that back, like we do sometimes. They don't do that. They don't go down that road. They are just so clear and so quick. So for me, it's so inspiring that you can actually, what would it take for me to choose that? What would it take for me to choose change like that? What would it to create change like that in that speed and with that ease that they do?
Instantaneously, and not bring it back to cause drama and trauma down the road. Yeah, it's just gone.
They are really inspiring.
Yes, and it literally will take 1, 2 of the correct questions that, once you get into that energetic mode with them, and they're like, hey, thanks, and that's it. And
sometimes I just you have also had Susie Gotti over there, haven't you? With horse classes.
Susie, yeah, I've been to one of her classes. Where was I? Texas. I got to go to she's just been here in Denmark recently, and we went out to. I work in the Royal Stable here in Denmark as a call-in, not a full-time job. I'm so lucky that I have a part-time job there, and that's so awesome. And at the moment, those horses are on their summer grass here. And I just want to tell you a little incident of how quick you can change a horse's life if they are willing to, and you are willing to receive whatever they are saying to you. Because Susie and I went there one day here 2 weeks ago, and when the herd, there are 14 horses, and one of the horses was completely excluded from the herd. He wasn't close to the herd at all. And I talked to the guy where the summer grass is, and he said they are excluding him more and more. And I've seen him once before trying to get into the herd, and the others would kick him so he couldn't move. They wouldn't let him in the herd. So we started asking questions, and he was like 50 meters away. And it was so clear when we made the energy pull through the horse, through us, which opens up the communication channels, and we started asking questions. Every time I asked a question, he would look up and look me straight in the eye, and he would answer by either turning his head away was a no, or putting it down to the grass again, it was a yes. It was so clear. And every time I asked a question, he just had eye contact, completely clear. And so I asked some questions about what is that? Is that there was an entity. So there was a man who had connected to the horse previously, and he was still there. That connection was very, very, he did not want to let go of that entity. The horse didn't want to let go of the entity because it was pretty important for him, that man-horse relationship there. So I asked questions about it. So could we put somebody else instead? Could I be the person? I'm willing to contact you every day energetically. And I could be that could I be that person now? And he said yes. And he walked straight up to me, and I could put my hand on his head, and I could do the entity clearing, and it literally took like 4 minutes. I did it totally. And I did the entity clearing, and he looked up and he walked straight into the herd, and he's been there since. It was that entity energy. The others could not be with that, and it was just. It took 4 minutes totally, and Susie's mom was standing in the side. The tears were just running down her cheek, and she said, "Oh, you two, Susie and I were, you rock, girls." She said, "I'm going to do the next horse class because it was so clear that horse's life just changed in 4 minutes." Mhm.
And he's been
Yeah,
in the herd ever since.
Yeah, the whole herd changed.
Yes, definitely, completely. Yeah, and the guy, I talked to him the other day, and he said, and I said, oh, so by the way, is Reposada in the herd? Yeah, now you're saying it. He says, yeah, he's in the herd. He was actually lying down in the middle of the herd today, so he's very safe and in the middle of everything.
Nice.
How amazing,
any better than that?
Yeah, how does it? How does it? And you get so happy by actually the tools are so dynamic, they are so powerful, and you can just create change in minutes. It's so amazing.
Awesome. I almost hate to interrupt, but we need to take one more break here.
I know.
She's like, I know. You've been watching all this running in the stream on the chat room. I mean, so amazing. Love the entities, all of that. So much gratitude for you joining us today. Let's go to break, and we're going to come back and talk more about Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider.
Oh, fantastic.
Many of us make choices on how to care for our animals based on how it has been done in the past or what others have always done. What would it look like to choose what your pet requires, which may be very different from what others would choose? By tuning into Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio Show with certified animal chiropractor Dr. Andy Harper, you'll receive information and options you never even knew existed to improve your relationship with animals in your life. Listen to Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio Show every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time on A2Zen.fm. This is Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio Show with certified animal chiropractor Dr. Andy Harper, or more well known as the Energy Wizard. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. at 815-880-8255. That's 815-880-TALK. Or in Canada, 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also ask a question by sending an email to drandy@harpersridge.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Animal Magic Radio on A2Zen.fm with myself, Dr. Andy Harper, and my guest, Hanne Stigaard, Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider Facilitator with Access Consciousness. You can find out more information about her and her classes around the world at www.hannestigaard.com. She is coming to my neck of the woods here in Denver, Colorado on August 15th and 16th. We're going to be at the Village Club in Cherry Hills Village. We're actually going to be working on some of the school horses and then a couple other client horses, and then whoever else would like to join us with their horse. What will it take and who wants to come play? But that registration is now open at accessconsciousness.com. So if you'd like to register and join us, please do so, and either contact Hanne at hannestigaard@gmail.com or myself at drandy@harpersridge.com. So we talked about
what it takes for a lot of people to have come and have fun.
A lot of people. I'm playing all that energy. I'm so excited you're here. I'm so excited you're coming. I'm like, I work with dogs more, but there is this difference in the horse energy that is beyond words. It truly is, and when I get out there, it's almost like I can breathe.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun to walk into the barn, and they're like, work on me, work on me. Well, we also got to talk to your owners about that, but they know why I'm there before I do anything, and it's usually chiropractic. I do a lot of the body processes from Access. I do, entity clearings and all the clearings. But they know why I'm there before anything. Like, they get it.
They do.
They'll get it.
Isn't that amazing? And they still get it, and they are oftentimes so ahead of us. What will it take for us to choose the level of consciousness that they are willing to be? Because they are. There is this. There is this quote from Gary Douglas where he says there is a level of consciousness that the horse have, where they can give to us in a way that we haven't even begun to imagine. Something far greater than anything and anyone has ever been able to speak about. And I guess that's the energy that there was in what you just said there, that it almost takes the breath away from you. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's so huge. And if what would it take for us to really be willing to receive that and to be that? That would definitely
be that. That's amazing. Oh,
yes,
yes. To be that. I'm going to ask for that more and more.
Yeah, exactly. Because what I can see with these classes and the people who choose to come to the classes, the level of change that it creates in their, or they are choosing to create in their life afterwards, is really, really unbelievably inspiring. Because that combination, like I know I mentioned it before in this radio show, that you can see how much you can change and how fast you can actually change whatever doesn't work for you, and going on with your life afterwards, and with some other eyes, seeing things with other eyes, and seeing things like, I might, maybe I should choose something else here, and what would it take for me to create something else here? But the inspiration that we can carry with us from a class like that, or for just being with the horses and receiving the contribution that they really, really want to be to us, could really change everything in our lives. I can see what would it take for a lot of people to have this awareness and to move further out in the world and really communicate with horses, and the horses in the whole world are crying out for it. They are really, they are so ready, and they want to contribute to make this a better world, and really to contribute to the people who wants to receive from them greater awareness, greater consciousness, and a level of ease that most people would have a better life from.
Yeah. How long have these horses been waiting for us to be here with them? And what if choosing this class could change all of that and contribute so dynamically to us and to them and to the world?
Yeah.
And
it's so funny. Like, you mentioned something before about the horses actually being willing to listen to us and contribute to exactly what we need or require from. And it's very funny, every class, when I look back at the class, we go a lot with the energy and what the horses are asking for, because that's part of the whole thing, to build awareness and to build consciousness and to build this energetic communication. And when I look back, it's always almost magical how the horses lead us through the things and actually gives us exactly the examples that the people in the class would benefit most from. It's so amazing how when you look backwards, it's like, when you stand there and something happens, it doesn't always make sense right there. But afterwards, when you look at it, and for some, they are just so aware that they can actually guide us through these tools and which tools to do now in exactly the right moment, where people can choose to look into parts of their own lives. That is, they just pick up the relevant stuff for the people who are there. They are magical in a way that is way beyond what I thought was possible years ago.
Right, and the whole time thinking we're working on them.
Yeah, exactly. And
right? We're going to facilitate the horses, and they're like, okay, you try that, and then we'll change. And they're like, we'll change your whole world, watch us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
it's so funny because they are so willing to be whatever we expect them to be. In that way, they also that's also one of the tools that we look at a lot at the class. All the projections and expectations and conclusions and judgments that we put out all the time on ourselves and on the horse and on others. The way that they can show us and make us aware of this is really, because I know I'm still judging now and then, and but we are, at least we are getting more and more aware of it. But the awareness that I have got from horses about this is so beyond what when I had been working with it on my own. Because they just make you aware all the time if you do a conclusion or a judgment or an expectation or whatever. So this would be things that we would be looking a lot into, and we could all benefit from that because they are so clear. Yeah. They are willing to be exactly what we expect them to be.
Exactly. How awesome is that?
Yeah, it's so funny.
Okay, we're getting to the end, and it tends to go really fast. And I know it goes fast. And it speeds up here at the end. But Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, August 15th and 16th. You can register at accessconsciousness.com or get a hold of Hanne at hstigaard.com or hold of me at harpersridge.com. We'll get you there. We'll get you all the details. So we're going to do some body process. We're going to do some energetic work. We're going to do some deep tissue. We're going to do animal communication and body language. Is there any riding going on? Do we ride the horses during class?
No, not during the class. If anyone wants to be on a horse, we can do that. It's open. We'll be at the question with that as well. But mainly we will be working from the ground. But if somebody wants to get on a horse, we can do that. That's more up to you and the horses there, actually. So, and and we are going to have a lot of fun. That's for sure. It's always a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yes, and I get the energy of this radio show, just, increase the energy around the class, and oh my goodness, I can't wait to hug you in person and how much fun we're going to have and how much we're going to change.
Yeah.
Change everything. Let's just go with everything. Let's change everything.
Yes, let's change everything. For the horses.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hanne, for joining us today and telling us your story and, oh my gosh, maybe inspiring people that never thought they wanted to hang out with horses, come join us and inspire and invite the horse people to join us.
Yeah, if I can learn it, everybody can learn it. I can tell you that. If I could do it, you can do it too, everybody. Yeah. Because I didn't know what was front and back, literally. So,
well, I had a selfish reason for asking about getting on the horse because I can tell you how to adjust them, work on them, do all this ground stuff, but I don't get on them. Okay. Everything that is, right?
Yeah, just right. I'll create that button. Yeah. Yes.
So, what can we change?
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And next week. And what was that?
Yeah, and what can we choose to be?
And choose to be. Yeah. What can we choose? Thank you. Next week on Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio Show, it's going to be Ask Dr. Andy Anything About Animals, and it will be August 10th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We collect questions throughout the month from clients, from emails that come in, and we share it with the radio audience. But if you have a specific question you'd like to ask, send that in to Dr. Andy at Harper's Ridge. Dr. Andy at harpersridge.com. There we go. I can do this. And as a certified animal chiropractor, I'd like to remind everyone that this information was provided for informational purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, prescribe, treat any illness. If you or your animal have a health concern, you're encouraged to seek the counsel of a veterinarian who is knowledgeable in your area of interest. That's the boring stuff. And now, I love this clearing. I thought I'd share it. And what's the brilliance are you refusing that you truly could be choosing, that if you would choose it would create a totally different reality for you and your animals, your horse, your dog, your cat, your bird, your snake, everything that is times a gazillion will you destroy and uncreate it all.
Yes.
Oh, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, talk, all nine, boys, short, and beyond.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah. Huh?
Thank
What if
you very, very much for creating this. I'm really, really grateful. I'm looking very much forward to going there and to meeting all you guys and to meet the horses. So thank you very much for creating this and the radio program as well. It's very cool.
Thank you for joining me. And what's it going to take to create brilliance in class and beyond?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And until we meet again on Dr. Andy's Animal Magic Radio, how much fun can you have with your animal?
Magic Radio Show. Dr. Andy will return next Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time on A2Zen.fm. We hope you'll join us. Until then, just how much magical fun can you have with your animals?